Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Easy Peasy Vocab. Say no to double negatives. Have you ever heard of what a double negative is? If not, please do watch this video. In the image, you can see a mom trying to lift something heavy, but her back hurts. Mom couldn't lift nothing heavy. So, what is wrong in the sentence? We have used two double negatives, couldn't and nothing. And that means mom can lift anything. But that's not right, right? You cannot say that mom can lift anything because her back hurts. Mom couldn't lift anything heavy. Now, let's see what a double negative is. So, what is double? Double means two. Negative is no or not. So, using two negative words in a sentence is a common mistake which can cause confusion. So, we should avoid using more than one negative word in a sentence. Negative words that begin with letter N, neither, nobody, no one, no, nowhere, never, not, nothing, none. Contractions that end in NT because NT stands for not, didn't, haven't, wasn't, can't, isn't, couldn't. Negative prefixes. So, what is a prefix? Something that comes before the word, right? Prefix. Dis, like disdain, non, unacceptable, and words with negative meanings barely, hardly, scarcely. Let's see an example. In the image, you can see a person trying to fix something under the sink. Tim said, "If it isn't broken, don't fix it." That means if it is not broken, he doesn't need to fix it, right? Tim said, "If it is broken, fix it." That means if it is broken, he has to fix it. It is pretty straightforward. So the first sentence has two negatives in it, isn't and don't. But the second sentence doesn't have any negatives. Just as in math, two negatives cancel each other. Do you know that? Similarly, two negatives here, isn't and don't, get cancelled. So the sentence would be, if it is broken, fix it. This wouldn't be the case all the time. And both these sentences have similar meaning. Let's see another example. In the image, you can see a mom scolding her son. Caleb said, "I didn't do nothing." If you didn't do nothing, then you did something, right? And it can throw you under the bus. It can throw you into trouble. So, to plead innocent, you can try saying, "I didn't do anything." Sometimes two negatives can get you in big trouble. So, it is best to avoid double negatives. There are three ways to correct a double negative. Basically, there are three rules. Rule 1, change the second negative to a positive. Let's see an example. They never go nowhere. Never and nowhere are two negatives. So, you can take away nowhere and place anywhere in place of that. They never go anywhere. So, here you will have one negative, never, and anywhere would be the positive. That is rule 1. Rule 2, remove the negative part of a contraction. Let's see an example. Louis hasn't never played golf. So, what are the two negatives in the sentence? Hasn't and never. What can we do? We can just remove the negative part of the contraction. So, what is the contraction? Hasn't is the contraction, right? The negative part of the contraction is NT, which means not. So, we'll take away that NT. Louis has never played golf. Rule 3, remove the first negative word. Let's see an example. Tina doesn't have no toys to play. There are two negatives here. What are they? Doesn't and no. What do we need to do in rule 3? remove the first negative word. So take away doesn't. Tina has no toys to play. And this makes sense, right? There is no confusion. Changing negative words to positive words. Let's see some words. No or none can be changed into a positive word, any. Nothing is anything. Neither, the positive word is either. No one, anyone. Nowhere, anywhere. Nobody, anybody. Never, ever. Now let's do an exercise. Dan can't hardly wait until the movie starts. So, what are the two negatives in this sentence? Can't and hardly. Right? So, what do we need to do? We need to take away the NT in can't, which is rule 2, where you need to take away the negative part of the contraction. And then we need to just leave can, right, in its place. Dan can hardly wait until the movie starts. Let's see the second one. I don't want nothing. That means you want something, right? It is the opposite of what you are wanting. So, what are the two negatives in the sentence? Don't and nothing. So, what do we need to do? We can take away the second negative, right? Which is rule 1. Change the second negative to a positive. What is the second negative here? Nothing. So let's take away the second negative and replace it by a positive word, anything. I don't want anything. The next one is don't never do that again. So what can we do here? So what are the two negatives? Don't and never. Remove the first negative word don't and then read the sentence. Never do that again. That makes sense, right? This is rule 3. We can also remove never and can say don't do that again. That also makes sense. The next one is there isn't nothing to eat. That means there is something to eat. But that is not what you wanted to say. So what are the two negative words in this sentence? Isn't and nothing. So what do we need to do? We can take away the negative part in the contraction and then read. Right? When you take away the negative part of the contraction, you will be left with only is because you're taking away the NT. There is nothing to eat. Right? Which is rule 2. The next one is Stephen couldn't hear nothing outside. That means he could hear something, which is not right. So what do we need to do? So remove the first negative word. And then what does it happen? It will become Stephen. You can also modify the verb there. Once you remove the first negative word, you can modify the verb. Stephen hears nothing outside. The next one is I couldn't find no gloves to wear. So what are the two negatives here? Couldn't and no. What do we need to do? Remove the first negative couldn't and then you can change the verb to found. I found no gloves to wear. Yes. Got it? Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, subscribe and comment for more videos. Thank you so much.